Hey, what's going on, Bears fans? Welcome to Geek on the Mic, the podcast all about the Chicago Bears. Who is this?
Dick Butkus.
Dick Butkus.
Walter Payton, it's the man.
Finds Cole Kmet wide open. Touchdown, Bears. Let's go. Who is this?
Georgia.
Nice throw, Jay Field.
Think I can fit in as like a water boy for the Panthers or something? I'm not talking about get on the field,
And picked off. Picked off an end zone by Kyler Gordon. Let's go. Put some respect on Kyler Gordon's name. And as always, bear down.
You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic. You can go and subscribe, cause I be on it right. You ain't bout it, you ain't bout it, you ain't kick on the mic.
What is going on, Chicago Bears fans? Thank you so much for joining me for yet another live stream right here on Geek on the Mic. It's a Friday night Q&A. We're doing something a little bit differently today. As today, I have a special guest, and it's my co-host, Isaiah Fry. How you doing, Isaiah?
Doing good. How you doing?
Doing good. This is a little bit different. We don't usually do live streams together, but I know that we've been talking about it for a long time now, and I know you were interested to get on here and kind of be a part of this Friday night Q&A, but it's good to have you.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm excited to get to chatting about the Bears. So
yeah, the chat can get lively sometimes. I do know I live in California. We live in California, so I know most of the listeners are in Chicago. So if they're tuning in, it's probably pretty late there right now. What, like 9:30, pushing 10 at the moment. So I do appreciate you guys tuning in. Whoever does tune in for this very late Friday night Q&A. So we're going to do the same thing we usually do on our recorded shows. We're going to talk about, the Bears versus Cardinals game on Christmas Eve. Hopefully they don't ruin our holiday season by losing to the Cardinals. But first things first, Isaiah, let's go ahead and talk. Let's break this Browns game down. It's devastating. Once again, up by 10, going into the fourth quarter, and the Bears defense was dominating, not so much the offense, but it looked like it was all set for, once again, what we were talking about. As long as they beat the Browns, the Bears can go on a run. Give me your reaction to that game.
yeah, it's kind of the digital underground all around the world. Same song, man. It's just the same song with the Bears. They can't finish. Unfortunately, they got a good team, man, and it sucks to see. Defense played lights out until the very end. They gave up some plays, but even then, they played well enough to win the game. And it's unfortunate that they came out with a loss with a game that was much needed for their playoff berth. So that was unfortunate.
And what I like to tell people, because, the first things first, the Justin Fields haters were in there saying it's all on Justin Fields, and Justin Fields did not play his best game whatsoever. But when you really look at it, there was a couple of throws, especially that one early on to Robert Tonyan, where Robert Tonyan just dropped it, right? That would have changed the stats a lot. Obviously, they gave Justin Fields an interception that wasn't an interception at the end of the half. And of course, that Hail Mary at the end where Darnell Mooney had it in his hands, it bobbled up in the air, and it was intercepted, right? So, when you really look at Justin Fields' game, I think the one thing I was kind of telling people to is kind of relax, because the Cleveland Browns defense is one of the best, if not the best, in the National Football League. And we talked about that going into that game. We knew it was going to be a tough test. And they did that. The Browns defense has done that to everyone, especially, if you look back, they did it to Brock Purdy, the MVP leading candidate at the moment, and the San Francisco 49ers. So for me personally, I didn't take it to heart that the Browns defense dominated our offense. I think we kind of knew that going in. I know I gave the Bears high expectations. I said that they would put up 27 points. I'm not sure why I said that. But early on, things looked pretty good. But once again, I think it comes down to coaching. I think there was some plays where the players didn't execute, like Mooney missed a block on that 4th and 1. But at the same time, on that 4th and 1, we talked about before the show, Matt Eberflus could have easily just kicked the field goal and took the points.
Yeah, you're in that moment, 17-7. You're in the fourth quarter. You kick that field goal, you get 3 points, man. You're up by 2 scores. Those are the plays that matter, though. They in the moment, they may seem it's not like a big deal. But when you get later on in the game, you see a possession where it's tied up 17-17, and then you get the ball back, and instead of being up 3, you're tied, and then you turn it over, and then they get the ball back and drive down and kick a field goal, and then you're kicking yourself in the butt, and it's like, yeah, those 3 points matter. Every point in the NFL matters. So you can't make bad decisions like that as a coach. And I think Eberflus has been doing a great job with the defense, but those are critical plays and critical decisions as a head coach that you need to be perfect at. And it's unfortunate to say, but you have to be perfect in those moments.
Yeah, and when you really look at the Chicago Bears, they are going in the right direction. And then that's the truth. With the players they have on this roster, they're going in the right direction. But when you look at some of the losses, and those 3 losses against the Broncos, the first matchup against the Lions, and then, obviously last Sunday against the Browns, they got a 98% chance, a chance to win those football games, and they lost. The Chicago Bears have made history because
Wow.
there's no excuse, right? And we talked about it, and I keep going back and forth on Matt Eberflus. Yes, he's a hell of a defensive coordinator, and he's proving that with more talent on the roster, the defense looks good. They are second in NFL currently with 18 interceptions. So obviously something is clicking. But to me, that is not enough to keep a head coach. The in-game decision-making is still just not good.
Yeah, it's not. That's the worst part of the Bears right now. Is their in-game decision making, and I'm curious to see what they're gonna do at the end of the year, man. Because it's like, what do you do as Ryan Poles now? Like, before, I think early in the season when they were losing, I was like, okay, he's out of here. But then they turned this corner, and then he started calling the plays on defense, and they look totally different on defense.
Yeah,
but those in-game decisions as a head coach matter. You know what I mean? Like, you can't have him as a head coach and have him not make those decisions. So
right.
And then you don't want to break the continuity of the defense. There's a lot of things. I assume they'll go a different route on offense regardless of the situation. But
Right.
It'll be curious to see at the end of the season.
But when we're sitting here thinking, Isaiah, it's like, you take those 3 games and you're 8-6 with a firm grip on probably the 5th seed right now in the NFC playoffs.
Right.
And then you're probably talking about Matt Eberflus being a coach of the year candidate.
Right.
You know what I mean? Things could be differently if they would have just held on in those 3 games where they were dominating for the entirety of the football game and just had meltdowns at the end in the 4th quarter.
Yeah.
And Micah Parsons even came out today. That's what cracks me up about all these people, right? Hating on Justin Fields, hating on the Bears. But he's like, the Bears are not far off. He's like, I think you stick with Justin Fields and you continue to build around him. And I can guarantee you the Bears will be in the playoffs next year and probably be a huge threat in the NFC next year. They're very close. And he's like, it's going to be interesting to see when this team finally learns how to finish some of these games, how scary this Bears team can be.
Yeah. I mean, like you said, those 3 games, man, 8-6. We're talking 8-6 right now, not 5, not 5-9, 8-6.
Yeah.
That's a good football team. So, to the fans that are worried about Justin Fields, I like you said, just relax, man. Just relax. The dude's a good quarterback. If you can sit there and honestly say that Caleb is going to come in or Drake's going to come in and be better than him, then you're just hope you're going to be in the same position in a few years that you are in now. You're just going to keep hoping for the best, man. So, I think you have a Lambo back there playing quarterback, man. You keep him and you just build around him.
Yeah, I thought it was funny, Isaiah. After the game, DJ Moore came out and was like, hey, Caleb and Drake are not better than Justin.
No.
And it's funny because more players are starting to come out, and it's actually hilarious because, kind of like midway through the season when Justin Fields was hurt and Tyson Bagent came in, obviously you started seeing these tweets and these rumors going around saying, oh, the Bears are questioning Justin Fields in the future. Have you seen those reports as of late? Have you seen those rumors as of late? You've seen Matt Eberflus on the hot seat, but you haven't heard anything about Justin Fields. So it's one of those things that I think the narrative is starting to shift here that, Justin Fields, I think very well that Justin Fields may get one more year. Yeah, I know Isaiah has some issues. I know we had this problem last week as well. You good? Obviously, Isaiah's going to join us back. Obviously, I have Isaiah Fry as a special guest. Once again, I know I was supposed to start at 7:30. Starting a little bit early here. We're talking about the Bears and Browns game, a little bit about Justin Fields and Matt Eberflus as well. I appreciate every single one of you guys coming in. I know it's probably super late where you're at. I know this is a super late stream, but I feel like this is a very special stream with a very special guest. Once again, this is still a Friday night Q&A. You can ask me anything that you want. You can ask Isaiah Fry a question, anything that you want. So you can ask us anything. So we're going to go ahead and go to the chat before we continue. We have Frank in the chat. It says bear down to you as well. We also have Mike Ross with a couple of comments in the chat as well. He says Fields played well against the best D in the National Football League. Coaches and receivers let him down. There's definitely an argument to that. It's just funny because, there's a lot of stat warriors out there. People that don't watch the game, they'll be like, oh, Justin Fields threw for 166 yards and only threw 1 touchdown pass and 2 interceptions. I already told you about the interceptions. I don't really care about those, but they're not talking about the Robert Tonyan drop. They're not talking, I'm not sure if you saw the play on that first Hail Mary where Za'Darius Smith absolutely laid out Justin Fields and he didn't get a roughing the passer call. That would have put us 15 yards closer and gave Cairo Santos a chance to kick a field goal. There goes points on the board right there. So people can look at the stats, but what I'm looking at, and I understand what people are saying, we need more consistency from Justin Fields, but I feel like we have seen that as of late. What I'm looking at is that one play, that 1 touchdown throw that he hit Cole Kmet on. Myles Garrett had him down, and Justin Fields was able to get out, extend the play, and throw an absolute dart to Cole Kmet. So those are the things that I'm looking at, right? And like I said, any offense is struggling against this Browns defense right now. They're just that good.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, they're elite, man. They're one of the top 3 in the NFL right now.
Yeah, so we also have Marco C in the chat. He says, keep Fields, draft Marvin Harrison Jr. He said, pay Jalen Johnson and give all the money you have to Tomlin as the head coach. I'm not sure if you've been hearing the rumors, Isaiah, about Mike Tomlin, the Steelers. Go ahead and do it. I don't know.
I like it. I like that a lot, actually. I like that never even crossed my mind, but I exactly what Marco just said, man. I would love to roll with that. That sounds good.
So would you be like, so let's say, the Bears after the season, like, you know what, we're going to give Eberflus 1 more year, but then let's say Mike Tomlin comes available. As a GM, are you firing Matt Eberflus saying, hey, you can kick rocks, we're going to get Tomlin?
Unfortunately, yeah. And that's no knock on Eberflus. This is Mike Tomlin, man. I played for him. Dude's unbelievable. And I think he'd be perfect for Justin Fields. So yeah, that would be good.
I think Mike Tomlin's interesting because he's a proven winner, right? And that's what the Bears need. And I think that's my one knack on Matt Eberflus, that he has failed to establish that winning culture in Chicago. He's established a culture, but it hasn't been a winning culture. Mike Tomlin is a proven winner. You're talking about 17 seasons in Pittsburgh. He has 10 division titles, 2 Super Bowl appearances, has won 1. I don't think he's ever had a losing record as a head coach. And he's had some pretty crappy teams with the Steelers, and he's been able to will his team to win football games. So I like that. I think he would come and establish that winning culture. Wouldn't have to do much either. The Bears are close. I think he would be the missing piece.
Oh, 100%. That'd be good. He just, I would hope he'd hire the right offensive coordinator. That'd be my only hope for him.
Yeah, that's the one thing that, because I'm guessing he's a defensive guy. So that's what all defensive coaches struggle with, is finding that good OC. Maybe Bieniemy gets fired in Washington. Maybe he can bring him in for a year or 2. I don't know. But it can't be Luke Getsy. I know that for sure. And Marco, I just want to let you know that Isaiah is very high on Marvin Harrison. He's basically saying Marvin Harrison are bust at this point.
Yeah, I'm all. I put the chips in, man. I'm all in on him.
So we have Chicago Sports Talk Michael, one of my good Bears content creators. He said Keek is on fire. I do appreciate that. I had to put that one on. Let me put it on again. Keek is on fire. I love it. I love it. So people are also in here saying the players and coaches around the NFL respect Fields. And, I like, Isaiah is one of those. You're an ex-NFL player, but you have a lot of respect for Justin Fields. You have been on the Justin Fields bandwagon since day one, and you have your reasonings. And I think, for me personally, I like listening to guys like you because you've played the game. You played against some really good quarterbacks in your NFL career and even in your college career. And you know a good quarterback when you see one. And if Justin Fields is really that bad, you would be honest.
Yeah, 100%. And then that's no knock on anybody that's, not capable of playing the position. It's just, I know a really good quarterback when I see one, and Justin Fields is that. So, yeah.
Let's go ahead and put Isaiah on the spot real quick, Bears fans. Since it's kind of, we don't usually do this, but I'm going to put him on the spot here. Was Jay Cutler a good quarterback?
Hey, why you got me on live asking these questions, man?
I told you things get serious in this live stream.
Jay wasn't bad, man. I can have a whole conversation about that, probably off air about that. But he was good enough to win. I'll say that for sure.
I like Jay Cutler. I actually love Jay Cutler. I liked his don't give a F attitude. You know what I mean? It fit the Chicago area, right? He didn't care what people said about him. He just, if he threw an interception, he'd be like, F you fans, I'll be back. So
yeah, I remember that 2013 season. When we went 8-8, I think. I can't remember. But Josh that came in, McCown came in, and he Josh has some really good leadership qualities to him, man. And he was playing lights out at the time. And, there were some discussions at the time which direction we should have went. But Jay wasn't the reason why we lost. I can honestly say that. It was more so us on the defensive side for sure. So, yeah.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Giving some Bears fans some misery when the defense was bad, right?
Yeah.
I'm just joking,
That
but
was us, man. That was on. We got to take the blame.
right. So give me an in-depth analysis, like what's going on, what you think is going on within the Chicago Bears locker room. Obviously, Jalen Johnson came out and was just basically saying, we hear the noise, but we know that we have our guy. Was that kind of the same idea when when McCown came in and, it was kind of like that conversations with McCown and Cutler?
I think it was a little different at the time.
Okay.
Honestly. Yeah, because like Tyson came in and he played well. But if you go back, it was actually 10 years ago, which is crazy. That's unbelievable. I'm getting old. But when Josh came in, man, he was playing lights out. That was the best he's ever played in his career. And, he was feeding guys like Alshon and Brandon, and they were getting going. So it was two totally different scenarios at the time, So not to say Jay was a good quarterback, but Josh was just on another level at that time, man. It was just like his time, like just go out there and shine.
Yeah. So what do you think is going on inside the Bears locker room recently with Justin Fields and the situation around him? Do you think they are all in still on Justin Fields?
Oh, 100%. I don't think there's anybody in the locker room that thinks otherwise. You hear guys like you hear guys like DJ Moore coming to his defense and making sure that, he stands behind his quarterback. Then, I think he's speaking for the whole locker room when he's saying things like that.
Yeah, for sure. We have another comment, Isaiah, and I think it's putting you on the spot again, but we're going to go ahead and post it. He said, no, Cutler was not good. LOL. That's why Isaiah paused. Maybe that's the truth. I don't know. We'll leave it at that. We'll have some off-air conversations, but my father-in-law hates Jay Cutler for whatever reason. He's a Seahawks fan, but he's never liked him. He's like, I hated when you guys had Jay Cutler. I loved his attitude because, sometimes you need that kind of attitude playing quarterback for the Chicago Bears. And Justin Fields is kind of the same way. He's not obviously not like Jay Cutler, but he's very to himself. He doesn't let anything get to him, doesn't let anything rattle him. And that was the same thing with Jay.
Oh yeah, man. Jay, this is not knock Jay, man. Jay got the team to the NFC Championship, before I got there. So, Jay can play, man.
And Jay Cutler didn't get hurt. Could have possibly been a Super Bowl. I'm okay, not winning, but they at least could have been there.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, that game's different if he doesn't get hurt in that game. The NFC
Absolutely.
Championship. Yep.
Absolutely. So here we go. We have some more comments in the chat. Someone said, fellas, great to be here. Just an OC to play to field strengths, power run game, play actions, bots, get him under center. I want Tomlin or Harbaugh. I wouldn't mind Eric Bieniemy for first-time head coach. So, and that's the one big thing, Isaiah, is, I'm kind of tired of the first-time head coach. Love Eric Bieniemy. But, obviously, Matt Eberflus is a really good defensive coordinator with the Colts, and now look him as a head coach. Right. Just because you're a good coordinator doesn't always make you a good head coach. Would that be different with Eric Bieniemy?
It's hard to say. I get your sentiments of a first-time head coach. Eric has some Super Bowls under his belt, man, so he knows what it takes to win. Obviously, it's a messed up situation where he's at in Washington right now, but I don't think we're qualified to hold that against him because he came into a situation where it was going down in the first place. So I like everything that Burt's saying right here, and I still what Marco said earlier and what Burt said. If I had an option, I'm picking Tomlin. Tomlin's the guy, and then like you said, you get Eric EB to be offensive coordinator. Man, you're getting the Infinity Stones all together. That's a good look.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, Isaiah, and to the Bears fans in the chat, if we decide to give Eberflus one more year, right, and then Harbaugh and Tomlin come available, Eberflus, sorry, I know we said this, but hey, you got to go. You got to go.
Right.
For sure. So let's go ahead and keep looking at the chat here before we kind of dive into our pregame show for the Cardinals and Bears game. So we have someone asking, seeing the issues with our OC play caller, who do you see as possible replacements? I'll let you take this one, Isaiah, and I'll follow up.
It's hard to say. We got to see, the market is always getting flooded after the season. It's hard to know who's going to be available, who's not. I like the idea of EB coming in and being an OC. I think that's the best situation for the Bears, especially for Justin Fields. I think that plays to his strengths. I think he knows how to get the best out of him. And like was said earlier, power game, making sure that we do play action, those things, man, that's what Justin Fields needs in his life. And I think EB can definitely take that out and take him to the next level.
Yeah, I think a guy like Ken Dorsey as well, a guy that was fired from the Buffalo Bills, could be an option. Maybe Greg Roman. I know people are kind of love-hate on Greg Roman, but look what he was able to do with Lamar Jackson. I think the one knock on Roman is that, he was able to utilize Lamar's legs, but his passing offense is not very good, So I think
what people always forget about Roman though, he
Mhm.
also developed Cap too.
He did, and
Yeah.
and that's why I bring up him as well. So Kaepernick, Lamar, Justin Fields, very similar skill types. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah, he has to change his, the game's changed since he's been successful with San Francisco. But if he's doing what he's supposed to do as a coach and getting better, then I like that hire as well too.
yeah, I definitely agree. Chicago Sports Talk Michael is asking Isaiah, Caleb wants part ownership of the Bears if he gets drafted. What's your thoughts on that?
Hey, I'm never going to knock a player for wanting more than for wanting more for himself. I like somebody to change the game like that. Do I think it's possible? No. There ain't no way in the world that the McCaskies are going to give him part ownership of the Chicago Bears. So, but I like it, man. Why not? My dad always taught me, man, closed mouths don't get fed. So, hey, go ahead and try for it.
You can go to Green Bay, Caleb Williams. I know they allow their fans to be kind of owners. They have like stakes or whatever, and stocks in the team, whatever that's called.
Yep,
So technically their fan base are part owners of the Green Bay Packers. Yay, go over there. That'd be cool. But not in Chicago, not with the McCaskies. So we have someone saying, MC Fact says, what about Pep Hamilton or Brian Leftwich? Those are two options as well for OC.
Like that. I like Pep, man, and I like Byron, man. He did good with Tom Brady. But it's good, you have Tom Brady. I think a lot of people would be good with Tom Brady. So
right.
Yeah. Byron's a little bit of a chance, but Pep, man, I like Pep Hamilton a lot.
I know Pep Hamilton was kind of in the conversation before we hired Luke Getsy, but we ended up going with Luke Getsy rather than Pep Hamilton. Honestly, MC Fact said Hamilton developed Luck and Herbert, which is a good point as well. And that's the thing. If you are going to keep Justin Fields, you have to find the right OC, especially if you're keeping Eberflus.
Right.
This has to be the right OC. They need to give you a detailed plan, like how they really feel about Justin Fields and how they can take Justin Fields to the next level. Right. And you have to be confident in your decision. And also a coach with proven experience, right? And I know Pep Hamilton has proven experience. Ken Dorsey has proven experience. Maybe even a guy you talked about, you kind of have to wait to see where the coaches lie after the season. Maybe Brian Dable. The New York Giants may let him go. He's an excellent offensive coordinator, maybe not a good head coach, but excellent OC.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I expect them to keep him one more year just because of the success he had last year. I think he bought himself 1 year. He turned it around in 1 year, and then obviously they dropped off this year. So he'll probably still be there. Yeah,
that's definitely going to be an interesting thing to kind of keep a note once the season ends. And personally, I'm just ready for the season to end now. Right? I can't wait for these 3 games to go and finally get into off-season stuff because, it's going to be really interesting off-season. Like we're keeping Justin Fields, as Matt Eberflus is going to get fired, and you'll know right away if Eberflus is getting fired. So he'll get fired that Monday morning after the Packers game. So,
how mad are you going to be if they win these next 3 games?
How mad would I be?
Yeah. Just thinking of what could have been had those games, went the other way.
If they dominate these next 3 and we go 8 and 9, let's say we miss the playoffs by 1 game, I'm going to be livid. I'm going to be hot. Would you be upset at that?
Yeah. That's it's almost at this point, man. It's almost, it sucks to say, but it's almost better to lose these games just to hold a draft spot, and then not have the taste of actually almost making the playoffs. Like those 3 games will come to haunt you, thinking about not making the playoffs.
Yeah, because when you look at the standings right now, the Bears are what, I think they said 11th overall in the NFC standings. So we have a couple of teams ahead of us. We're going to need some major help. The Bears only have a shot at the 7th and final playoff spot at this point, right? And I think the Vikings hold that final spot. They play the Lions twice and then the Packers once. So the Lions could very well lose out. The Giants are ahead of the Bears somehow. Don't know how with Tommy DeVito. They're ahead of the Bears right now in the standings. And then, of course, you have the Rams that I think the Rams are going to end up getting in over the Vikings. The Rams are playing really good football. Yeah. So I think the Bears, and this is going to be a very Bears thing of them, but we're going to end up winning these last 3 games, and we're going to be 1 game out of the playoffs. And we're going to be on this podcast heated saying, if we would have just won those 3 games, we would have been in.
I see it happening too. So that'll be interesting to see.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and start kind of diving into this Cardinals game. And obviously, if you guys have questions, go ahead and pop them in the chat. If you have a question for me, go ahead. If you have a question for Isaiah, go ahead and ask it in the chat. And I'll try my best to get to all the questions. Once again, thank you guys for being here. I am joined alongside with Isaiah Fry. Obviously, Isaiah played for the Chicago Bears for a couple of years, played for a couple of different teams, but we don't care about those teams. We only care about his stop with the Chicago Bears. And he did say, I think you said on my very first podcast, you said, I'm not sure if I remember, I don't want to misquote you, but you said that the Bears wasn't your favorite place to play, right? Or was it?
No, it was.
I thought you said it was Tampa because you played for the Bucks too, right?
Yeah, I did play for the Bucks. No, Chicago was by far my favorite place.
Okay, my bad. See, I hope you're not just lying to the chat just so you can.
I tell you, you can ask anybody around my circle, man. They drafted me, gave me my first opportunity.
Okay, that's right. That's what it was.
Chicago was my I still get the Chicago alumni mail, so that's who I've been. That's who I'm associated with. Yeah,
that's cool. That's cool. You know, I was trying to find a jersey. You know, your jersey, a Bears jersey, so you can sign it. So maybe you can be on my wall behind me. You know?
Yeah, man. I mean, you know, I think I'm at the point out of my career where you got to go create it now, man. You got to go. You got to go through the custom one. But yeah, man, definitely, I got you.
You know, I put it right behind me, so every time I'm on the podcast, I'm like, you got Isaiah Fry's jersey? Hell yeah, I do. What are you missing? Come on now.
Yeah.
Come on now. So, all right. So let's go ahead and dive into this Cardinals game. Not really much to talk about here. You know, you got the Chicago Bears 5-9. I think the Cardinals are 3-10 at this point in the season. So this is very much for draft positioning. I think, you know, can I call it a win-win situation here for the Bears possibly? You know, because if you win, you know, obviously I guess it helps your confidence in the locker room, probably helps Matt Eberflus and Justin Fields. But if you lose, it helps your draft pick, right? So could be a win-win. Give me your thoughts on this game, though.
I expect them to go out there and win. They should win.
Yeah.
They should. They should. They are the better team coming into this week. And if they lose, then, you know, like you said, it's a win for the organization, man. But it's bad for the team because they should not lose this game. They shouldn't.
So I know how you feel about Matt Eberflus already. You know, you think the nail's already in the coffin. You lose to the Cardinals. Should that be the final nail in the coffin or what?
I mean, that'll be a final nail. I think the nails are almost complete, but yeah, that would for sure be the final nail.
Like, how many nails can you get? You know what I mean? Like, how many nails are in this coffin already? How many times have we said it?
I mean, he already got 3 corners for the 3 losses, so that 4th corner right there in the box, man, is just going to be just hammered in if they lose to the Cardinals.
Right, and I don't want to overlook this Cardinals team. Ever since Kyler Murray has come back, he's looked good, right? They've been competitive. I believe he's 2-3 since his return. You know, they're playing competitive football. Obviously, Trey McBride's a guy to keep an eye on as well. Him and Kyler Murray have been going crazy. Obviously, Trey McBride had a really good game against a very good San Francisco 49ers defense last week. That's really the only thing they are really good at the moment. But I definitely see some opportunities for Justin Fields and the offense to have a good game. There should really be no excuse for Justin Fields, Luke Getsy, and the Chicago Bears offense not to have a good game. So I think to me that's definitely the key going into this matchup against the Cardinals. I mean, plus I really don't want them to ruin my Christmas Eve, Isaiah.
Yeah, I mean, I think you'll be fine. I think they're going to go out and play. They play like they did last week, and the offense does. You know, they'll do better because the Browns' defense was elite. You'll be fine. They're going to win. I truly believe they're going to win.
You know, I think in this type of situation too, the weather, you know, it being December is going to play a huge factor. Obviously, coming from Arizona, playing in a dome, it's going to be cold, right? And I'm not saying anybody is used to playing in that weather, but obviously the Bears have to practice in it every day, so they are more prepared than the Cardinals.
Yeah, speaking from experience, man, you never get used to that cold, man. Oh my gosh, that is.
Go ahead and tell the chat your fondest memory of the cold.
I think I've told the story on here before.
You have. Yes, you have.
And all the Bears fans probably remember this game. 2013, we played them on either Sunday night or Monday night. It was like -8 with a wind chill to like -15 or something. And there was a play they threw it to Jason Witten. He dropped it. I swear I barely tapped him with my helmet. It wasn't even a hard hit or nothing. I just barely tapped with my helmet. I had the little underguard under my helmet. It scraped my whole forehead. I had a whole scab on my forehead for like a whole week just from that little tap. That's how cold it was. My skin.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Do you guys have like seat warmers like on the seats? Like are there?
Yeah, they give you seat warmers and then they give you the jacket and all that, which it does help. That's like, you know, that really saves you. But back then they probably don't do it no more. But Lance was still on the team, so they had a tradition of defense. You can't wear no undersleeves. I was the only one on defense that did have. I had one sleeve on, and the reason why I did have one sleeve is I had broke my hand a couple games ago. Right. I was trying to blend in, so they wouldn't wouldn't know I had a cast on. But yeah.
Yeah, you can miss me with that. Was there like a punishment if you didn't wear sleeves, or people just clowned you on the defense if you didn't? If
If you get clowned, you don't want nobody like Lance step until you can be like, hey, bro, like take it off. Like
you're gonna take it off real quick if he steps up on you. Yeah.
Instead you take your undershirt off, you definitely going to what Lance said. So yeah, 100%.
That's crazy. I remember my first time going to Chicago. It was in December. We played the Packers, and I think it was supposed to be the coldest game in NFL history. Ended up not being the coldest game in NFL history, but I remember my feet took forever to thaw out after that game. When we got back to the hotel, it took about an hour, 2 hours to finally feel my feet again.
Yeah, I believe it. There's been days out there where you put a water in a cup and throw it out the cup, it just instantly freezes. That don't make no sense, man.
Yeah, I remember I slipped on some black ice. Obviously, come from California. I was like, what the hell is black ice? I'm just walking down the street, checking out the city of Chicago for the first time. And my dad and I biffed it. It was like bad, terrible. I was like, okay, that's what black ice is. It literally looks like just the street, and you're like, oh, that's not ice. And you step on it. And yeah, be careful.
Yep. Yeah, you can tear ACL on black ice for sure.
So let's go ahead and go in the chat before we kind of give our score predictions for this game. Maybe I'll have Isaiah do some 3 keys to a Bears win. I know we haven't done it in a while, but just for the sake of this live stream, MC Fact said Getsy is good, needs to be good as gone. I think Isaiah and I can agree. He also said, as someone who's seen the Bears win a Super Bowl, hey, that's good for you. Hey, I give you kudos because we have not seen the Bears win a Super Bowl. We're very young, but I could never go alone with losing. I know that's not popular for people who never saw the Bears win. Okay.
No, I agree. That's, as a player, that's how you think too. You're not in there to lose.
No.
You're not in there to have somebody drafted to come in and take your position. That's just that's not good business.
Right. And that's what Justin Fields is thinking. They're like, there's fans out there calling for my head, calling for my job. I'm going to go out there and dominate. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter who's in front of you. Go out there and dominate for sure. For sure. So this question is for you, Isaiah. It says, do you think the Bears defense has a spy on Murray the whole game?
I don't think the whole game. I think there will be certain situations that they do. I think on third and 6, I think they do. I think Edmonds is actually the guy to do it. He's fast. He can run. But I think they just play their game, and I think the D-line is getting home right now. I think they're doing a great job, and I love the way Flus is bringing pressure. Yeah, he's switching it up, man. He's bringing pressure on third down. There's times he's bringing it on second down. So I think that bodes well for them, especially Kyler Murray. Going against Kyler Murray, this is only his, third or fourth game back. So, he's trying to get his feet up under him. So I don't see him doing it all game, but it's definitely going to happen at some point.
Right. Maybe we can have Justin Jones be a spy. Obviously, Matt Eberflus thought Justin Jones can cover David Njoku on a 3rd and 15. That is just a joke, Bears fan. That's me being sarcastic. But when I saw that, Isaiah, I was like, what? I was like, that's Justin Jones, our defensive tackle guarding David Njoku.
Yeah, that's not a good matchup.
And it's funny because Flus like, yeah, that wasn't a good matchup.
That's not a good matchup.
No crap, Coach Flus. Like, come on, man. Like, you can't make it up. You can't make it up. So someone is saying, Marco is saying, I hate the fact that if the Bears pass on MHJ, he's going to Arizona and becoming the new Fitzgerald. Very much. That's very true.
Man, you don't pass up on that dude.
Yeah, that's a sore subject for
pass up on him.
Isaiah. So let's move on. So Rich Johnson says, do you think Drake or Caleb could play in the cold? Question mark. Like JF1, because Keyshawn Johnson came out and said JF1 can throw a good ball in the cold.
That's a good question. That's something that needs to be asked too. You know what I mean? That matters. It's not the Chicago don't have a dome, and Caleb, man, he's played in good weather for most of the right. He came. Where did he come from in high school? Did he come from like New York or something, like Pennsylvania? He's up there in the Northeast though. I know somewhere over there.
Yeah,
that may help him, but I haven't seen him play in the cold yet. So that'd be interesting to see. And then Drake, he's in. Where's he at? North Carolina or wherever he's at? Yeah, he's going to be fine.
Yeah, because that is a big thing. Because there was a throw last year by Justin Fields when we played the Buffalo Bills. And it was the Velus Jones Jr. And it was like a dot. And I'm like, you're not supposed to throw that well in the cold, right?
Yeah.
If anything, you're supposed to throw worse in the cold. But, coming from, Southern California, you're coming from California, my dude. Like it's going to be an adjustment. Can you play in the cold? Especially, when the Bears get back to the playoffs, it's going to be important if you can play in the cold.
Right. It is.
So it says Caleb Williams attended Gonzaga College High School in Washington, D.C.
Wow. Okay.
So Does it get super cold in Washington? Not colder than Chicago, I'm guessing.
You know, I'm not too well versed in the DC area, so I couldn't speak on it. But I would assume it get a little cold at times.
Right. So we have Mike Ross in the chat asking, I want the Bears to win. I don't care where our second first round pick is. Bears will get first thanks to the Panthers. That is true. We don't need to worry about where our pick's at because we will possibly have the number 1 or even number 2 overall pick. So
Definitely.
We got Bert in the chat says none Bears, not Bears, but NFL question. Do y'all think Rams wide receiver Nakua might have butchered his name? I'm sorry. Will break the receiving yards record. I think he is 147, 50 yards away. So I'm not sure. He's a rookie, right? He's an undrafted rookie. He's been looking good.
Rookie record, I believe. Yeah, I think he will. If I'm not sure how many yards he is away. If this is the amount, I actually think he will because Rams are playing for something every single game and they're rolling right now. Matt Stafford's doing good, man. He look like the Detroit Lions Matt Stafford right now. So I can see that happening.
And there's a possible matchup where Matt Stafford and the Rams travel to Detroit in the wild card weekend.
I love it.
I love it. And honestly, at that point, if the Bears were in the playoffs, I would give the Rams our spot just to see the Rams go into Detroit and beat that Lions ass. I really would.
Yeah, that would be good, man. I would hope Matt Stafford goes in there and does that.
Yeah, he probably would. Obviously Matthew Stafford's a winner right now. He won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
That was the ultimate goal. The Rams, that trade worked out, I guess, for both sides, I guess, depending on how you feel about Jared Goff, but
right.
I think it worked out for both sides.
Right.
So Donnie's in the chat. Thank you so much for tuning in. Donnie said, if we get a new coaching staff or offensive coordinator, how much do you think their input will be to keep Justin or trade him?
It's a good question.
I say none. I say none personally.
You don't think none? I think they do. And the reason why, I think when Poles is interviewing, I think that's the question that he's going to ask. You know what I mean? I think Poles knows what he wants to do in the back of his mind, regardless of the question. But I think when he's interviewing, he's going to ask these coaches, what would you prefer? Would you prefer to move on from Justin? Or would you prefer to keep him? So I would say whoever he hires is going to have a say in what goes on with that.
Well, in that scenario, yes. If you put it that way, yes. But if Ryan Poles has the this narrative in his mind that he is done with Justin no matter what, and he's going to trade him, then I guess it obviously won't matter.
Right. That's a good point.
So it just depends on which way you look at it. We don't know what Ryan Poles is doing. We don't know what he wants to do. I think if I had to guess, I think he's going to value what he can possibly get by trading down the number 1 overall pick compared to what he can, I guess possibly get for Justin. I don't know. There's going to be a lot of different scenarios here. I don't know.
I actually, if he does trade that number 1 pick, I only hope he trades it to number 2. I really hope he doesn't trade down too far, man, because you already know, my stance on that pick, man. I know exactly. I think I know exactly where they should pick, and it should be Marvin Harrison Jr. I'm gonna say.
Would you be like super upset if they passed on him?
Yeah, for what? For what? Like, what are you looking for? That's the question I would ask. Is like, what are you really looking for? Like, what are we doing now? Are we just trying to gather assets to, maybe disperse out and get something different? And if you go to the scenario of you talking last week about the Max Crosby and all that, I'm like, okay, maybe. But other than that, what are we looking for?
If maybe we get DK, like in that one draft. I know it's unrealistic, but maybe DK comes available. That's okay too. But Marvin Harrison Jr., man.
Yeah, man, he got NFL pedigree. His dad is one of the best ever. So yeah, let's roll.
So how would you feel about Marvin Harrison Jr. and Brock Bowers, the tight end from Georgia, together?
Yeah, that's yeah, I like that. I don't see them doing that for their second pick, possibly, but I mean, I think they go more O-line or either D-line. So, that would be nice though. That'd be then Justin Fields wouldn't have any excuses to go out there and ball.
And see, that's what I like about it is that if you get a Marvin Harrison Jr., let's say you re-sign Mooney to a little 2-year deal, you keep, obviously you have DJ Moore, and you get a capable OC, a proven OC that can, elevate Fields and put Fields in the best situations to succeed, and Fields still does the same stuff, then all the Justin Fields haters, you can come at me. I guess you can come at Isaiah. You can come at everyone that's defended Justin Fields and talk all the mess you want.
It'd be warranted at that point, honestly.
Right. So, I don't think that's the case. I think you get a Marvin Harrison Jr., I think you'll be set. How do you feel about Joe Alt? MHJ, obviously we know MHJ, but how about Joel? He's the offensive tackle from Notre Dame. He's 6'8". You know, I think he's close to 300 pounds, and he's a freakish athlete. You think are you okay with Braxton Jones, or you think it's time to move on?
I mean, you can never have too many good tackles. Honestly, I think if you're able to keep both of them, you do. But it's not possible. I like him. I watched a few games of him, and I've seen him. I was trying to figure out who that big dude was, but he was out there. His name. It'd be a good guy to have on your offensive line. So I like that a lot.
Yeah, out there moving for sure. He's definitely a freak athlete. I think he would definitely elevate this offensive line. Someone said, I know this word is tossed around a lot. Not that one, but I know this word's tossed around a lot. But MHJ is generational talent, hands down.
I agree. 100%, Bert. 100% generational, man. I'm with you on that one.
And that's not a you shouldn't be throwing that word around.
No, man.
Not all the time, but he deserves that generational.
How often do you see a dad that was a baller in the NFL, Hall of Famer, and his son is just as good as him, and he's bigger and faster? Like, make it make sense. I mean, he has the knowledge of his dad with more athletic ability.
And think about it, Jerry Rice's son is going to be in the same draft, and no one's calling him generational.
Nah, he's good, but he ain't he's not. Yeah, he's not.
That's a good point. That's a good point to bring up. So I'm just saying that. So I'm gonna put these comments in the chat back to back for you. Isaiah said, I heard JF1 is headed to Vegas, the Raiders, and then someone said right away, fake news. I believe that. That's fake news. That's just at this point in time, like during the offseason, there's gonna be a lot of smoke screens to make it seem like the Bears are in a certain direction, but that may just be the Bears' motive to go in a different direction.
Yeah. I can guarantee you they're throwing those out there on their own just to mess everybody up because they hold the leverage. So, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but you never know.
Right, for sure. So we're going to do one more question, and we'll go ahead and give our predictions and go ahead and get out of here. I know it's late on a Friday night. It's not really late for us, but kind of late for you guys, whoever's watching, wherever you guys are watching from. Says Isaiah, what do you think about more blitzing? I guess the question, more blitzing.
I love it. I think that's where they're best at. What Eberflus has done well these past couple games is he's able to disguise the blitz. And there's times where he's showing blitz and dropping back, and he's in a good rhythm right now. And I love the idea of them blitzing. Like I keep talking about Kyler Gordon, man. He's doing a great job, disguising his blitz, getting back there. And I think they continue to do what they're doing and just allow those D linemen to get those one-on-ones and win their matchups.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I like that as well. Let's give a huge kudos to Montez Sweat. The dude leads the Washington Commanders in sacks and the Bears in sacks.
It was a beast. That was that. Yeah, it was at the time it didn't make sense on the trade because of his contract and all that, but they were able to lock him. Yeah, that dude's an animal.
I remember you and I were talking. We're texting, and you weren't a fan of it originally because you didn't know, like, is this going to be a rental? Because you can't afford no rentals, right? But then when they signed him, you're like, okay, that makes sense.
That was the only thing I was worried about. It had nothing to do with his talent. It was like, okay, like, what if he decides that he don't want to sign here? Then this is going to be a bad trade. But, they were able to lock him in, so it worked out.
Yeah, so, I definitely agree. So we're going to go ahead and give our picks, score predictions and picks for this Cardinals versus Bears game at Soldier Field on Christmas Eve. And then we'll probably go to the chat and answer a couple more questions before we get out of here. So, Isaiah, I'll let you take the floor and give me your prediction for this game.
They broke my streak of being wrong last week.
I know.
Fortunately, I was right. So I'll just go back to normal. I'm gonna predict it the normal way. I got Bears winning. I got Bears winning 31-20.
31-20.
Yep.
Okay. I love it. And that's the first thing I thought about. When the Bears were winning, I'm like, yes. Isaiah was right. Isaiah needs to keep picking against the Bears. And then the Browns came back, and I'm like, well, that's broken. No, we can't do that no more. So 31-20 Bears for Isaiah. I'm going to go ahead and pick, I think the Bears, I'm going to say 30-20 Bears.
Okay.
Because I still think, the Bears give up a lot of chunk plays, and I'm still seeing it, and granted, last week, I think they were tired because they were on the field too long, and obviously their breakdown came into the fourth quarter. But if they can limit those chunk plays, that would be nice. But I could still see the Bears dominating this football game.
I noticed they're at their worst when the offense is in 2-minute mode. They're not very good. Yeah, because, like the question was asked before, they're very good when they're able to set up, get in their disguises, get the blitzes going. But whenever they, the team is on hurry up and they got to take a quick coverage, that's when they're not at their best. So yeah, the last 2 minutes of the half and the game is where they struggle at.
Yeah, and I was like sitting here thinking, I was like, man, and no disrespect to Joe Flacco, but I was like, we really lost to Joe Flacco. He was just on the couch a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, man. Joe was out there slanging it, man. Throwing some. He threw some good balls, but he also, we had 3 picks, so it wasn't on them.
Yeah, for sure. So we're gonna go in the chat real quick. Someone said, "Hey, Keek, don't worry about the time. It's not too late. Hopefully not for you." Someone said 23-9 Bears. That would be definitely a dominating win. Hopefully that means Justin Fields plays good. Someone said, I think we need to build around JF1 because I think if any QB comes into the Bears after JF1 will fail just because the ceiling will be too high. That quarterback will be forced to come in and probably win right away because the team is ready now. We're built to win now, right? We're supposed to be at the end of our rebuild. So that would put, false expectations on Caleb Williams or Drake May or even a guy like Jaden Daniels or maybe even Michael Penix, whoever you get, right? So definitely agree with that. We got Philip in the chat says Bears 27, Cardinals 17. Okay. Most of the time people don't go against the Bears. They're not like us. I don't even want to call myself a realistic fan. I always pick the Bears. I picked the Bears last week and I was mostly right until the fourth quarter. But we got Mike Ross says, I don't know how Kyler Murray can see what the hell is going on down the field. Or you're probably insinuating a short joke.
I was talking to one of my friends about that the other day. It's like that's why you got to roll him outside the pocket because how's he see over his old lineman when he's trying to throw down the middle of it? It doesn't make no sense to me. But yeah,
when he takes off and runs, it's the funniest thing in the world because he's like super quick, like he's just boom, 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 But it's just funny because he's so short.
Yeah,
like he's smaller, he's shorter than me, and I'm a short guy. I'm 5'6", and you know, I think we're probably the same height, but I could probably beat him in the 40. Hey, no worry.
Duke can fly now.
I've been training. It's all right. I've been training for. I could bench press 225. Like 12 times. That's not bad.
Not bad, man.
For 5'6", for 160. You know what I mean? Like, man.
That was more than some of the corners in my class. So hey, man,
so
not bad,
I could literally be. I probably wouldn't even make it on special teams, but maybe not even practice squad. What am I talking about? I haven't played football a day in my life, so it's all good. So we have someone in the chat saying, Keek, did you see that the Justin Fields did an interview? Yes, I did. It seemed like the reporter was insinuating Justin won't be back. Seemed like a play from Justin's agent for media attention, put pressure on the Bears. It possibly could be. Weird things happen like that. But like I said, there's no final decision quite yet on the whole Justin Fields situation to me. Someone said, love this. So glad I'm able to be here. Happy holidays. Much love. Bears 28. Cardinals 24. Bert, much love to you. Thank you so much for interacting with us.
Definitely.
Philip says Caleb Williams is overrated. Please, Isaiah, I watched a lot of film and a lot of his passes are with the clean pocket. Your thoughts?
I don't disagree with him. I like Caleb Williams, but there's a part of me that thinks that I don't think he's going to be as good as a lot of people think. I completely agree with you, Philip. I like him. I do like him, but I don't think he's a generational talent. I really don't. That word is being thrown around with him for whatever reason. Yeah. I don't agree. Not one bit.
Is it fair to say that Michael Penix may end up being a better NFL quarterback? Like, you never know with these quarterbacks nowadays.
You never know. I like Drake. I do like Drake.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, Drake could end up really good. Michael, he's still up in the air with me. I need to see some things from him still to make me get on the board with him. But as far as Caleb, I think he'll be solid. I don't think he's going to be generational like everybody says he will.
Yeah, for sure. Isaiah, how do you feel about real quick letting people come join us in the chat just to end the show tonight?
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and people want to ask you a question. The one thing I do ask, everyone knows that this is a very, I keep things positive. Don't come in here, cussing up a storm. We try to keep it very positive, keep it very clean. That's just my motto on the podcast. So there goes the link. If anyone wants to come join for a little bit, talk with Isaiah, talk with me, you're more than welcome to. If you have a question for Isaiah, you have a question for me, have a question for the both of us, you can go ahead and come in. So as we're waiting for people to possibly come in, someone wants to know from you, Isaiah, what do you think about the Getsy tight shotgun offensive formations? It seems to me wider formations would stress the defense more.
Yeah, I agree. I don't like that formation at all. I think it defeats the purpose of being in shotgun. And with Justin, man, you need to be able to spread it out and give him lanes to run. I mean, there's a place for it, maybe on short down and distance when you're trying to run up the middle, but for the most part, I'm not a fan of it.
Right, for sure. So we're gonna go ahead and bring Dion into the chat. Thank you so much, Dion, for joining in. How you doing?
Doing good. How you doing, man?
Doing good, doing good. What's going on with you?
Hey, I just wanted to get your
Yeah.
your opinion on something. So there's a lot of people that were as Bears fans, they was up and down. Like when Justin went out, everybody was on this Tyson Badgett thing and whatnot. I'm a Justin Fields fan.
Okay.
I don't think Justin has been given a fair opportunity with a potent offense so we can unlock and see what he got. So I'm not going to move on from anything until I see what I got because I don't want to have any regrets. In addition to that, we're not in a rush to move on. We're in a rush to build everything for the quarterback.
Right.
So what I was thinking was, you got these first 2 picks. Why not go after, obviously you want to get Marvin Harrison Jr.
Right.
You can go after that tackle from Penn State, but I wouldn't even be opposed to going after someone like Brock Bowers with this. And to me, somebody like Brock Bowers, you could put him right in the offense and say he would probably be a better blocking person than the current fullback you got.
Right.
You could also put him at the tight end, and you could move him to the slot. So he could be a utility piece. But my thing is, if you build the offense with weapons, and Justin Fields is the bust that some of these people think he is, or they want to move on, then fine. Then you can insert Tyson Badgett.
Right.
Now you got the best of both worlds because you drafted to get potent on offense. Your defense is looking good. You could still grab probably I would go after a veteran safety, maybe in free agency, maybe that Whitehead guy. But I would go after some veterans on defense to add to the defense.
Right.
Just draft for the offense, get strong with the weapons, give Justin Fields those weapons, and then we can really do a true evaluation of him. And if he isn't the guy, you got the weapons to win now, then go ahead and throw Tyson Badgett in there and be like, yeah, we're going to move on next draft. We'll probably go after that kid that quarterback that's at Duke. I think he about to transfer.
Yeah.
But you can always go get a quarterback. But you need to build your team now. You don't want to pass up a Marvin Harrison Jr. And like I said, I would go get Marvin Harrison. The worst case scenario, Justin ain't the quarterback. You got Tyson Badgett right there. You can inject him in, and then everybody can shut the hell up. They want to see him anyways. You could put him in there and say, hey, all right, we're done with Justin. He's still under contract, so why would you want to cut him? Well, you obviously wouldn't cut him, but why trade something that you ain't get real value back at it, and then you sit him somewhere and he flourishes, and he is that guy. Give him an opportunity to be the guy. He really hasn't got the experience. Well, we'll put it this way: that first year was some BS. That rookie with Nagy. Last year, you agreed that you was tanking, so you can't really judge him on last year when you say we ain't got shit on the roster and we're right. We get that. This is our first year to see him, and we know we still have weaknesses and holes.
Right.
Fill those holes up, and then we can always get a quarterback. And since everybody who hates Justin was loving Tyson Badgett, he's still on the roster. You can put him in. Okay, the only thing we should be talking about next year after this draft is, are we benching Justin to insert Badgett, or is Justin doing what he's supposed to do now that he got weapons? We could do a fair evaluation. And even people who defend Justin right now will be fair about it and say, if you went out and got somebody like Marvin Harrison Jr., you improved the offensive line, and Justin's still having problems, we'll be the first people saying, yeah, go ahead and imagine a shot.
Yep.
First people saying it.
Yeah, and I've said that on my podcast many times, Dion. I was like, you know what? If you build Justin Fields, I know there's never like a perfect situation, right? But if you build Justin Fields a Philadelphia Eagles team like Jalen Hurts has, and Justin Fields still struggles and still doing the same crap, I'll be the first one on my podcast. And you know what? I was wrong. Now give Tyson Badgett a chance. If he's not the answer, let's go draft a quarterback. Another option is maybe if the Bears trade back, get that second round pick back. I know there's a guy by the name of Michael Penix, JJ McCarthy that may be floating around there in the second round. Draft one of those guys and let him come sit behind Justin Fields.
Right. I just hate that we've seen Justin some of us all through high school. We saw him in college. We know the kid can play. We see him in the pros make plays that for anybody who's saying he's a bust, we've seen this guy do some things that buses can't do.
Right.
We've seen flashes of greatness. So why not give him all the tools so there's no excuses?
Right.
It would be sad to get rid of a guy that you really didn't give a fair shot to. And my thing is, we've had quarterbacks in the past that we had many excuses for, that we gave all the time in the world when we knew, man, we need to be moving on. You know what I mean? Even when Jay Cutler was here, Jay was known to throw interceptions,
Right.
but everybody loved him.
Right.
Just give a guy a fair evaluation and a fair shot. And the only way we're going to be able to do that is if you actually give him some real weapons. Right now, at the receiving core, all he has is DJ Moore, and I do like Cole Kmet.
I do.
But
Yes.
that's all he really has. I like Mooney, but he ain't doing nothing for us.
Right.
This is what it is. Get him a second weapon, because people like Jalen Hurts, you go over there to Justin Fields could be like Jalen Hurts, or he could be like the kid over there in Baltimore. You just got to put the offense in that works for him, not what you want to see.
Exactly.
You have.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah. Do appreciate your point, Dion. I really appreciate you coming on here, being candid with us. That's what most logical Bears fans are thinking. I'm going to let Isaiah comment on this as well. What are you thinking, Isaiah?
I completely agree. I you know, and it's hard for me to say that, you know, to sit here and say Justin hasn't played. Justin hasn't played bad. He hasn't played bad at all. I think where he can be better at is being a little bit more consistent. But I think he gets the consistency with putting pieces around him. You know what I mean? Because there's games where he's like the game before last, he had a good game. You know, let's not sit here and say he's had consistently bad games. So,
right.
You know, if he can just string along those good games that he has and do more of that, and, you know, get away from the games that he had, you know, like the last week or a couple weeks ago, he's gonna be fine, man. He really is.
Yep. Agree.
Definitely agree. But Dion, thank you so much for coming on. Looks like you're eating some finger licking good food over there. You know.
Peanuts, man.
All right, man. Hey, but you have a blessed one. Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, happy holidays.
Yeah, that's a good point, man. You know, like this is stuff we've been saying all along. It's like, you know, put the pieces around them, because it'd be a shame if you trade them to the Atlanta Falcons, to teams that have already built, have better coaching, and the dude flourishes, right? And then Ryan Poles would really lose his job. So
yeah, I mean, I will say this: I would love to see him and Bijan together. That'd be dope. Arthur Smith would have to be out of there though, because he don't know what the hell he's doing.
You know, and that's the fun. I actually posted a video today. Is that it's like the Bears fan base, not all of us, about 20% of the Bears fan bases, they're the only ones that hate Justin Fields. If you talk to any other fans around the NFL besides the trolls, they're like, Justin Fields available?
Yeah, y'all don't want the keys to the Lambo, man. I'll take it, man. Come on.
I'll take him. You know, that dude has talent. Like, okay, he holds on to the ball too long. All quarterbacks hold on to the ball too long. Patrick Mahomes holds on to the ball too long. Russell Wilson holds on to the ball too long. Lamar Jackson. You know why? Because they're able to make plays.
Yeah.
That's the new age of the quarterback.
Yep.
Get used to it, you know, and there's more quarterbacks in the draft coming out. Caleb Williams, the generational talent that these people are talking about. He holds on to the ball too long. It's just a new age of the dual threat quarterback. You have to live and die with it.
Right.
So, yeah, man. But other than that, man, we're going to go ahead and end this stream. I like to keep it at about an hour. Sometimes I go over maybe an hour and a half. Once again, I want you guys to understand that this is how it's going to go every Friday. Maybe Isaiah can come on more. I think you guys enjoyed it. I do welcome people to come on and talk to us as well. But I do appreciate everyone in the chat tuning in. Once again, Isaiah, I do appreciate you coming on as well.
Definitely. Yeah, I had a great time being able to talk with everybody. And it's good to hear, you know, everybody's perspective on things. And you know, it's great to see that, you know, that some people think the same way, some people think otherwise, which is good, man. That's the beauty of it, you know, having conversation and having debate. And I love it.
And that's the thing. If people come in and have an opinion on Justin Fields, they don't like Justin Fields, that's totally fine, you know, but it's one of those things you just have to be able to back it up, you know? And I think that's the whole thing about content creation is that I don't take anything personal when people say bad things about me or say bad things about Justin Fields that they don't agree with my take. That's totally fine. That's the beauty of it.
Yeah.
You know, is debating, and they have freedom of speech. That's the point of content creation. They can continue to push their narrative. We'll continue to push our narrative, and our narrative is that Justin Fields is the guy, and build around him, and the Bears will be something special. So.
Right. Yeah. You know, and so, you know, at the end of it, some people are right, some people are wrong, man.
Yeah. It's going to be funny once the decision's made, right? So
yeah, that's the beauty of sports.
So if they keep Justin Fields, the content's going to be great. But if they get rid of Justin Fields, man, we're just got to, you know, take the losses, you know, take those L's, right? So
accept the L.
But everyone, I just want to say happy holidays to you. I hope you guys have a very good Christmas. Hopefully the Bears can come out with a win. Isaiah, same to you and your family. Hope you have a really good Christmas and happy holidays to you. And as always, bear down to you.
You as well. Happy holidays. Bear down.